Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy Devils Sunday! This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, Season 3, Episode 67, titled Wrecking Ball in New Jersey, because tonight we have a special guest coming live. Mark Recchi, assistant coach, live. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Beer Baron and Scotty. Shorts guy is on social media assignment somewhere down at the Jersey Shore. But yeah, we got a big podcast tonight, all powered by the Primetime Radio Network. We're on Facebook Live, Twitch, Periscope, YouTube Live, and Twitch. Guys, big podcast tonight.
Big.
We have a
Huge.
current assistant coach for the first time in our podcast history. We're looking for everybody's comments. A lot of news today. We're going to update our hashtag We Are Fun live ticker. You can see that above. That's something new that we instituted. And also We're taking your questions and comments. And if your comment is funny enough, it may make the live ticker. Yeah. Make the and if you pay the podcast lots of money, it also can make the ticker as well, the live ticker. Anyway.
Well, that's pretty sweet. The live ticker.
Yeah.
The kicker ticker.
The kicker
ticker.
Sorry we didn't discuss that in our pre-production meeting, guys. But
I like it.
Yeah,
go for it.
Yeah.
Let's see the creativity out there. Okay, come on. Where did Taylor Hall actually sign? Not in Buffalo. Let's go. Creative choices, please. Here, let's send them our way. All right.
Jack Eichel was like, "Dude, I'm trying to find a way out of here," and you bring Taylor Hall. That's what you do. That's your big.
That should be a Jack Eichel response to the Taylor Hall signing. Go ahead. Your best creative responses there. Go ahead. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, dude. First of all, Kevin,
super excited for tonight.
I'm not going to do the wrecking ball, the Miley Cyrus wrecking ball. Anyways,
yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, a lot of very exciting things happening in this whole live thing. I have to remember because we talked about it last week. that my camera is up here now and my computer screen is down here. So often looks like my head is down. Sam was like, I thought you were depressed the entire last podcast. And I was like, no. I wasn't depressed. I keep forgetting that my camera is set a little bit higher. So I often am like looking down at the screen so I can see what your faces are doing, or I'm looking down at my phone to look at the reaction of our infamous Facebook Live group, because I have to tell you, we are the most commented podcast in New Jersey Devils history, and on multiple platforms, as you mentioned. But we have to get a lot of this underway. So, Scotty,
where's
before
the
we get
donate
into
button? Gary D. Francesca. Woo!
We have to get into
Sam. Yeah, Sam Wu left as soon as he said, "Where's the donate button?" Sam Wu was right out the door.
Boof,
boom,
gone.
Heading to get those funds coming in. That's what he's trying to do. How you doing, buddy?
I'm not bad, man. Hey, it looks like my fantasy football team's going to be 5-0. We got Mark Recchi on tonight, which I'm excited, nervous, all that kind of jazz. Excited to hear what his thoughts are. Lots of stuff to talk about. Some moves. I think Fitzgerald has been doing a beautiful job in the front office so far, and I don't know.
I gotta say, I was a little upset on draft night, with everything that happened, and I think it could have been probably a lot of it was the Eddie Van Halen. I went through a very traumatic day with Eddie passing. I don't know about anyone out there, but Eddie was definitely like when I was a kid. I know you've seen that old guitar that I had. My first guitar, it's like a knockoff Stratocaster, like, $50 guitar. But my first electric guitar had the Eddie Van Halen Frankenstein, red and white paint job on it. And that thing is still at my parents' house to this day, but that was a different world back then. Eddie Van Halen was like a hero that like transcended, pop culture and everything.
A lot of people forget that he did the guitar solo for wait, let me ask you, see if you know.
Beat It.
Yeah.
Beat It from Michael Jackson. Yeah, he was, dude, he revolutionized guitar playing, without a doubt. There's nobody like Eddie Van Halen, and you can argue him as the greatest guitarist of all time. Not just rock or metal, like he is up there with, the greatest of all time. So I was a little upset, and the Rangers came in and made a little move, trying to like get ahead and show us up, and then we made that other third draft pick. I was a little upset, but now that I've gone back and done a little bit more reading, obviously I was ecstatic with Holtz. Glad we took him. But the Dawson Mercer I wasn't as up on. So I'm really excited to actually ask Mark Recchi what he thinks of all these draft picks, because I've been reading, first I read that Dawson Mercer was kind of more of a kind of just, impact player in the sense of, getting under the other team's skin. But then I start reading more, and this dude has put up a lot of points. Now, granted, juniors and everything like that, but he still put up a hell of a lot of points where that could, transition to a little more scoring than, I was originally thinking, and you can kick me in the backside, for being a crappy host, whatever, that's fine. But I had to get up on all my videos. Sometimes there's not videos and accurate research of everybody out there. So I got up and I feel a lot better. And then, Fitz came through and he made these trades that really kind of, bolstered the team in a lot of areas that we were looking. We bought out Corey. I wasn't a huge fan of that. They must have really just felt like Corey, just didn't have it in the tank anymore, and they needed to go out there and replace him, because essentially we're paying the same amount of money with the buyout and Crawford's new contract, but whatever. I think Corey Crawford is a great, addition to the team. He's got so much experience. He was a Devils fan at, later on in life and everything like that. So I think that's really cool. Him coming to the team, and then Ryan Murray on defense, which I believe, same, very reminiscent of Sammy Vatanen. If this guy can stay healthy, he can be a real impact player on moving the play up ice, which, there were at times where we were banging our heads like they couldn't get out of the zone, and this guy should help the team on defense do that more. And don't forget, he was a
number two overall in the 2012.
Number 2 overall.
And played for North America.
Like this kid, goodbye, Mirko. It's been fun, but now we're on to this next project of someone who's maybe in a first round pick that needs a little rejuvenation. So, it's exciting. There's a lot of moves there, and then getting Andres Janssen also kind of provides a little bit more depth scoring, for that bottom six type of role. And I was actually watching some highlights from him before we came on a little earlier. And once I knew my fantasy football Sunday was over, I just switched over into watching hockey highlights. And as we're in the same league, that was quite a while ago. So I was watching some of the stick work that this guy's got. He's got some really good hands, and it kind of gives us a little more depth scoring. So I feel like Fitz made some really good moves there. And the which one is it? We're only paying a smaller portion of money. We're taking the full cap hit, but we're only paying a smaller portion of the contract because it was already guaranteed and paid up front. So our cap hit is more than what we're actually paying.
I think the cap hit's like 3.5 or something like that. I could be wrong about that. I got to go back and look.
Is that for Janssen? I think that's for Janssen, right?
For Janssen, yeah.
Or is it? Yeah, Murray is only signed for 1 more year, right? Or is he 3? One of them is 3. I'm getting confused here. One of them is 3 more years.
It starts to get a little confusing because there's a bunch of things that are happening and a bunch of moving pieces. But I agree with you completely. Like Fitzgerald has really, he hasn't gone out and gotten a Pietrangelo or the big time sexy move that everybody would be freaking out about. Like, oh my God! But sometimes those moves don't work out. And I think what he's doing is he's getting in that age group, because I think both both are in that age group of under 26 or around that area that he was talking about, that he wanted to kind of get people that have controllable years under their contract and also get them as they're on that early side of their 20s. Both moves I think are
both of them 25
are great.
Both.
Crawford is on the opposite end. Crawford's a little bit older,
obviously,
but you're coming with pedigree. Yeah. So you're coming to the Devils. You have and you have a tandem now of Mackenzie Blackwood and Crawford. You're not expecting Crawford to take the whole load because you want Mackenzie Blackwood to take that next big step to be the true number one. But now you have a backup that you don't have to think is going to go 6 and 18, or something like that. So I think bringing in Crawford is a great idea. I think he needed. I don't think he needed a change of scenery, but he definitely was kind of shocked that the Blackhawks bought him out, and I think that this will be a nice kind of. I don't know if you want to call it a rejuvenation, but it will be a nice little wake-up call for him to get a second chance. But honestly, I'm excited with the pieces that Fitzgerald is putting together. I'm curious to see if he's done or if they're going to still kind of tinker around making any moves or any changes. Now, there was something that I wanted to bring up to you that I thought was extremely interesting. And forgive me, I just spent the last 4 hours driving.
Omar's already mentioning a couple things here. Does it have anything to do with a team in Florida?
It does not have anything to do with a team in Florida.
Okay.
But I will say this.
Okay.
So there was a lot of talk. There was a gentleman that was on TSN who was talking about when he went and interviewed with the Devils for the GM position that they were talking a lot about offer sheets. And then after he said that, there was just speculation out the wazoo. Like, who are they going to try to get? Who are they going to try to do? What are they going to try? This, that, and the other thing. Do I think they're actually going to try and offer sheet anybody? No. But that kind of throws like an interesting aspect into it that ownership was very curious about how that process works and would they be willing to aggressively pursue somebody. You have to pay a pretty hefty price if you offer sheet somebody. I mean, it's not something that, especially if you offer sheet somebody that is, higher up there on the billing. So I don't expect Fitzgerald to do it, but at the same time, it's just interesting to see what their thought process is of what's going on. And I will say this, the moves he's made, very smart. You trade Joey Anderson for Johansson 1-for-1. That's the new 1-for-1, by the way. I know it used to be Larson for Taylor Hall was our big 1-for-1, but now we got a new 1-for-1, and I think it's a really smart move. I was a huge Joey Anderson fan, and I did not want to see him go. I thought that kid had a ton of potential, but hey, things happen, and that's what it is. So, hey, what's up, Sammy?
Hey guys! All right, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready?
We're ready.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I was telling Scotty before we went on air that Mark Recchi is like one of those players that I wished he put on a Devils uniform, and I was like
100%.
jealous envy. Like my friends that are Flyer fans, Pittsburgh fans, even the Caniacs, redneck hockey. I was always jealous, and even the Bruins fans, always jealous. But now I'm glad he's on our team as assistant coach. Pleased to welcome to the Let's Go Devils podcast, Mark Recchi. Mark, you're on with Sam, Scotty, and Scott. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Mark. So nice to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Sorry about the texts back and forth, but it's great to be on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no worries. Mark, like Scotty was just saying, it's a huge honor to have you on the show, and it's a huge honor to have you as an assistant coach for the Devils. And I have to say, as soon as you were hired, it felt like the entire internet erupted with Devils fans just jumping out of their seats with excitement that with everything that you can bring to the team. And, we're super pumped about what you're going to be able to bring to the table. Have you had a chance to sit down with Lindy and really kind of take a look at the roster and how it's shaping up in the last couple of days, or?
No, we haven't talked to Lindy this weekend. I'm sure we'll have a call tomorrow. Me, Lindy, and Elaine, we'll get on a call tomorrow. We've been going over some system structure stuff as well already, getting prepared for the upcoming year. So I believe the Monday that tomorrow we'll get on a call and obviously talk about the real exciting moves that, Tom Fitzgerald's made. And, he's brought in some quality players, some quality people, and a step in the right direction and keep adding to this team right now.
Mark, well, we just want to say also, welcome to New Jersey. We're very happy to have you here. We're very excited. As you're going to help bring this young team, into the new generation. Just have you got yourself settled in? Are you feeling okay over there in New Jersey? Obviously, everything is a little bit crazy still. We're still in our partial lockdown, but how you been holding up?
Yeah, I'm extremely excited about this opportunity. And like I said, this is, when you see the young players and when you have a rebuild and you're trying to build a championship team, it's nothing better than being part of that. And I'm excited about it. And, I'm going to start reaching out to players here this week. And once, everything settles down with all this free agency and everything, start, building relationships with players. I haven't got to New Jersey yet. I'm actually going there in a couple weeks to look at places so we can get settled in and get ready for the season coming up and make sure that's taken care of. We kind of got a partial date now anyways, which is great. So something to look forward to and hopefully that stands up and we're playing hockey January 1st.
Yeah.
Hey Mark, before we jump into the all of the New Jersey Devils, you were just talking there about rebuilding a championship. Just want to ask you real quick, what did you think of the NHL playoffs this year? And Tampa Bay coming out on top, but just the whole bubble system and how everything kind of went down. I thought it came out great. We've talked about it for weeks. Just the games, the excitement, the energy that was involved with it. But love to get your take as a former player and coach.
Yeah, you know what? I thought it was terrific. I thought the league did a fantastic job. We were only in the bubble for a short period, unfortunately, but it was well set up. The hockey was tremendous. The guys there and they did a heck of a job under the circumstances and with everything going on. They handled it like true professionals, and it was just great hockey. And that finals was awesome. I thought the semifinals, the finals, all the hockey was great, but I just thought it just, I thought the last couple of rounds were just absolutely terrific and fun to watch. And Tampa's they figured out how to win. I give them a ton of credit. They've had their ups and downs, and they've been close, and early failures, and they figured out how to play playoff hockey, and they were a tough team to play against, and then to go along with all that skill, it was just really fun to watch.
Dallas too. They surprised a lot of people.
Absolutely. They got a lot of character guys in that room, and obviously it came together for them, and they got on a great run. They got a good team. They're very well balanced. They got some good young guys that brought them a lot of energy with their veterans, and they did a good job. And Khudobin was terrific in net for them.
So, Mark, going into the new season, like you said just a little while ago, that the scheduled date so far right now is tentatively January 1st. This entire season that just wrapped up, and this off season that's happening right now, when we should be opening up, the beginning of the season. What are your, I don't want to say like expectations, because you haven't gotten into the camp yet. You haven't really gotten a chance to talk to any of the players, but what are your feelings just approaching a season in this manner? Like outside of, the everyday running the numbers and talking to the players and going through practices, like just personally, like what does this feel for you? Like trying to prepare for a season that's starting so late in the year.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's I'm like, it's over. Like we're usually cranking it up. We're a week into the season right now, and it's just very strange. The whole playing through the summer, and obviously eventually they'll get this thing back on track and back to normal hockey times. But right now you just have to unfortunately this. You got to go with the flow and got to figure things out as you go, and try and be as flexible as you can. And the guy, I think, the league's going to do, they're going to do whatever they can to make this right again, and make sure that we can have a season. And between them and the NHLPA, I think they have a great relationship, and I think that obviously always helps as well.
Mm. Hey, Mark, I wanted to get your opinion on some of these. We've been talking about young Devils, and the Devils are rebuilding, and us fans, we've been here and we've been going through it. We had very high expectations going into the year, and it didn't work out exactly as planned. So we've been trying to tell ourselves to keep our expectations in check with our young team. But I just wanted to start out with front and center Nico Hischier. And, just what is your feelings about him? Because we saw him grow over the course of last season, really starting to take on some leadership roles. I'm not sure how closely you were watching, beforehand, but just in general, your impressions of Nico, which, in large portion, this team is going to function, kind of around him and Jack there at the top.
Yeah, you know what? Absolutely. And you know what? I watch a lot. I watch a lot of hockey. I'm a fan as well. I love to watch games after, the late games. I love, games during the weekends and the afternoons. So I'm always watching hockey. So I love it. And I absolutely love Nico as a player. He's going to develop into Patrice Bergeron. He's got that 200-foot game, strong on pucks. And everything I've heard about him, he's just an amazing kid. And I just, you see a player that's just going to be a cornerstone for a long, long time for this team. And I did watch him. You do pay attention to him, and he does a lot of little detail things that just for a young player, it usually takes him a little while, and he grasps them pretty quick. And I think he's been obviously well coached, through his career, over in Europe and here. He's been very, very well coached, obviously.
And to piggyback off of that, what are your thoughts about Jack Hughes about taking that next step? Because last year, obviously, we've talked about it a million times how the year was shortened, and there was just a lot of kind of just turnover in the Devils in general. It wasn't really what I would say the best kind of number one pick year you would want. But what do you think he needs to do to take that next step to really elevate his game this year and I guess going forward?
You know what? It's great that he came and played, and there's always pressure on being a number one guy, but now he's got that 1 year under his belt. He understands the league now. He understands what it takes on a daily basis, a daily grind, and I think that's going to benefit him tremendously. And we're going to, I know that our coaching staff, we're going to be very patient with him. He's got high-end skill. It's just incredible skill. He's guy you're going to run your power play through. If he's playing the way he should be playing, then we want him quarterback in the power play, and he has that skill level that we're going to put him in a position to succeed. And it's just, this new season is just, he's going to be prepared and he's going to be ready. He understands it now. He's had a lot of time to get, probably get a little bit stronger, which is always important as you're getting older in the league. And, he's 19 years old now, and hopefully he's added a little bit of weight and a little bit of strength, and maybe even a little bit more explosiveness in his skating, and then just keep growing from there. And that's our job to help him, and in all areas, mentally, physically, in all areas. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to work with him every day to help him get to the point where he's, going to be a top player in this league.
Yeah. And like I said, it's got to be, it's got to be on the internet. Yeah. Where he's starting to get shredded.
Our kid's looking good.
But I mean, you feel bad for the kid just coming into the situation, and unfortunately, just things didn't pan out the way that the Devils wanted to last year. But the upside, like you said, you grow from that and you learn from that, and hopefully that he'll take that next big step this year, whenever the season starts. That is. But is there anybody on the team? And I know this is kind of one of those questions that, like, it might be a little silly, but is there anybody on the team that kind of reminds you of yourself when you were playing, that you're excited to kind of get in there and really work with?
Well, I think Paul Mary is very similar to me, and I'm looking for it. Really excited to work with him. I think we could play kind of a physical game. We could play, we could score goals. We could make plays. Like, I really enjoy watching him, and I think he's a very important piece for our leadership there. Obviously, the one player I've been watching a lot, and not so much similar to me, but I'm kind of excited to see how he can grow, how he can continue to grow, is Jesper Bratt. So I see a lot of skill. I see something to really work with. He's 21 years old, and I think he could, he could be another kid that we, hopefully he can take that next step this year, and we can put him in positions to succeed and help him along here. And I'm really excited about him as well. I just see a lot of skill. He's got to get a little bit inside more. And that's the stuff we'll work with him on.
Mark, you said Jesper Bratt right there. And, he reminds me a lot of the player I was going to ask you about right now. And, as someone who's going to be obviously working with the offense, this player, I think, will have a great deal to do with it. And I'm speaking of Nikita Gusev. And he as well, we saw him really start to come out of his shell later in the year when he was paired up with Pavel Zacha. We started to see some real spark there. And we started to see, Pavel actually start to shoot the puck a little bit more, getting some more confidence, it looked like. So I was wondering just, how do you see, Nikita Gusev being used on this team to, really reach that full potential?
Well, he's another one that's going to me, is going to greatly, because it is going to be his second year. It's just, it was his first year over in playing in the NHL. It's a totally different game than Europe. And I think, as you say, he got better and better as the year went on, because he got adapted to the style of play over here in the smaller rinks and a little less time. And his high end skill is incredible. He's going to be a big part of it. And, hopefully he can just keep growing and take that, the second half of the year and just flourish from there. And then you talk about Zacha, who's another player that's, he's a young player. He's a big body. He can skate, and he was a pretty high draft pick, and sometimes the pressures of that aren't always the easiest for young guys, and he's another guy that we expect to continue to grow here. And again, it's up to us to do it and help them. And they've got to do their part, but we've got to do our part to help them as well. And I think that's the exciting part for all of us, really. And they should be excited, the players. This is, a great opportunity to start building something real special. And we're excited about it as coaches, and I hope, that they are as well. And you see what Fitzgerald, we bring in a real good young forward, Johnson from Toronto. I don't know the young Anderson very well. I just heard you guys say, you really like them. I don't know much about him, but I just know Janssen from watching him, and he's going to be a good addition for us. And he's scored 20 goals in this league. He knows what the league's all about. He's got some skill. He can skate, and he fits what the game is now. And there's another piece that is going to help this team continue to grow.
Now, did you get a chance to take a look at the number 7 pick, Alexander Holtz? Have you had a chance to take a look at any part of his game, or do you feel like he could possibly transition into the NHL this year, or do you think he's going to be a little ways away?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what training camp's like with him. I mean, he's playing right now, which is great. I think that's I believe he's playing right now, so which is great. And that'll give him an opportunity. He's going to come in, having played a bunch of games, and hopefully he's ready to take that step. And all the things I heard and watched and saw on him, it was pretty exciting as well. And somebody that's really score goals. He's got he's got high end hockey sense, and he can really shoot the puck. And another guy to get excited about. The draft is exciting. You can have 3 picks in the first round and a bunch of picks overall, and it's exciting when you just you feel like you're just really just continuing to grow with this thing.
Yeah. Mark, I actually wanted to ask you because eventually I want to get a little something into your playing career, because there are some historic moments that you were a part of, even from a Devils perspective. But you are someone who played in the league for 22 seasons, and back in '91, even with Super Mario. Oh man, I remember going to see some of those Pittsburgh Devils games back in the day. Whew, where Mario would just slice us up. But you played through the transition of the league was a lot different in the '90s. And, they changed the rules. They got rid of the grabbing. The defense is a little different. The game is very, very fast now. As a coach, being that you played through that transition, do you think that, helps you be able to translate this? And, what do you feel is the biggest difference from back in the day to now?
Yeah, well, speed is definitely, it's high-end speed. But when I was playing in 2011, the rules were basically from 2006 on, the rules have, been the game has been created to get more speed, more offense, more scoring, and and you've seen it. And it's just, so I played in that era. I played in the clutch and grab, which was miserable, but but it was.
You got some good numbers here, though, in those years. That Flyer record over there. 123 points. That's not bad.
Yeah, I know. No, it was good. It was crazy though. We used to get to the bench, and I remember Johnny LeClaire would go, "Geez, we just spent a minute out there. We didn't even get a shot on net, and I'm exhausted right now." All the time we got to the bench. Yeah.
It's funny because Sam started off right before he brought you in. He said that the one of the guys that you always wanted to have in the jersey, and it's so true. Like when you were out there, it was always like, oh, man, there's Recchi again. He's gonna kill us. He's gonna kill us tonight. And as a Devils fan, it's exciting to have you as a part of this team. And we had a Facebook question, and one of our fans wanted to know, what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge coming into this season? Not to step away from the playing stuff, but to kind of get back into the coaching aspect. So what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge not just for you, but I guess for the overall coaching staff going into this season?
Well, yeah, it's totally different dynamics. I mean, we're starting in January. You're going to probably have training camp in December at some point, or training camp early January. I'm not sure how it's all going to work out, but it's getting the mindset with the players in the right frame of mind. That's going to be our biggest goal, is getting them in the right frame of mind right off the bat. New Jersey's been off for a long time. They've been off since March.
Almost a full year.
We're going to have to, Yeah. So, you think about it, it's a long time. So we're going to have to get their mindset and get them into, we're going to have to, we'll obviously have to be patient and start, but then we're going to have to ramp it up pretty quick so that they're getting a feel of what it's like to play a game again and a hard game and stuff like that. There'd be teams that have just finished playing, 3 months ago or 2.5 months, 3 months ago. So, you're going to have to be ready in your mind, and mentally, I think, is going to be the biggest challenge for all of our guys. I think physically now all the players are ready. They work hard. The players are all fit. Yeah. They do what they have to do. They're, it's a different era now where they're, everybody's got their own personal trainers and, as well as working with our strength coaches. And so they're, they got individual skills on and off the ice. And, so they're always fit. We never worried, for the most part, about players being fit. It's just now you got to get to the mental mindset and make sure that they're ready mentally and do the right things physically as well. Like you're going to have to, you're obviously going to have to, we're going to have to ramp up as quick as possible, but you got to be smart about it as well. And Lindy's been around for a long time and very experienced head coach. So, he'll know how to handle it properly. And I think we'll do the right things to get the players going for that first game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, now I know we're coming up on a little bit of a time crunch here, so I have to ask you, okay? Now I know this may bring up some bad memories for you, but for us Devils fans, the 2000 Eastern Conference Finals, New Jersey Devils versus the Philadelphia Flyers is, obviously in our lore, and we've never got a chance to talk to someone, on the other side of that. So what was your perspective, from that series, and, what was it like playing against Scott Stevens and our own personal podcast enforcer, Ken Danico? Oh my God. And the A-line as well. Holy gee, man, I'll let you talk because I'm going to keep blabbering here, but what was it like being on the other side?
You know what? That was a heck of a series. I mean, that was, we had an opportunity to grab it and didn't take advantage of it. And they've been champions before, and they knew what it took, and we battled right to the end, and it was a goal, near the end of the game, and they got the opportunity and they got the bounce and they took advantage of it, and we didn't take advantage of being up 3-2 in the series, and but it was a heck of a series, and playing against Scott and and those guys, Danico and Dano and that crew for so long, and Marty, it was, you had to be ready to play every night, and if you weren't, you were going to get your head taken off. So but they were honest and they were both honest players, and they were great. They were I know they were great teammates and honest players, and they came to play every night, and you had to be ready. And I played right wing most of my career, so most of the time it was against those two guys, and it wasn't always fun, but but it was also a challenge for me. Hopefully I can do something and see what I can do. But that was a heck of a series, though, and it's when you get to Game 7 in the semifinals, you lose. It's always tough. I mean, that's a tough one. I actually had 2 Game 7s to get to the finals that I ended up losing one, as well, both in Philly. So, those were tough.
Mm-hmm. But you did win 3 cups.
Yeah, I'll make up for it. Yeah, definitely made up for it.
That makes up for it in the end.
Yeah, but I'm greedy, though. I'm greedy. I want it more. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's completely different feelings winning as a player and a coach, but which one does any of them stand out to you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people say the first one, but some people say like, well, winning as a coach was a completely different feeling, and winning as a coach meant a little bit more because I was helping guide these guys to it. What is your opinion?
Oh, it's definitely different. There's no question. It's definitely different than actually being in management or coaching, but it's still the same feeling. It's still incredible that you're part of something that you won a championship, because it's not easy to win championships. And it's not easy to win the Stanley Cup, and to just be part of that is amazing. And in terms of what was one of my favorite, God, I won early in my career, and then it took me 15 years to win another one, and then I ended my career winning one. So you just can't go wrong with. I mean, everyone's amazing, and they all have their different special moments, but they're all the same to me. It's just like you got a chance to win a Stanley Cup, and that's what you play for.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Mark, we want to thank you for coming on to the podcast here and, taking some time to, chat with us as you get prepped for this season, which is, different, and we're all going through it together here. But, man, we are so happy and excited that you are a part of the New Jersey Devils family. And please, open invitation whenever you want to come back onto this podcast, because I want to hear some Mario Lemieux stories from back in the day too. I want to hear about some of that stuff. So whenever you want to come back on this podcast, you are more than welcome. Open invitation.
Absolutely, I appreciate that, guys. And Mario's the classiest guy around. So I got lots of good stories about him. So he's the best. So. But appreciate you guys having me on, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you very much. Have a great day or night.
Awesome. You guys too. Have a good night.
All right. How about that?
It's crazy,
Devils
man.
assistant coach Mark Recchi right here on the show. How cool is that, man? He is awesome.
Yeah.
He's so awesome.
You know what? You nailed it on the head. Like, I had so many other questions, but I freeze sometimes. I'm like, my brain just goes.
Dude, I got I wanted to ask him about every single player I have written down here. I'm like, Nico, Hughes, Tom, Johansson, Gusev, Pratt, Saga. I have Nolan Foote. I have every single prospect written down. Like, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about this guy?
I think, you know what, though? I think it's, you just don't want to bombard them, because it's like, they haven't even had a chance to really talk to the players or really get into camp yet.
Yeah, I know.
But hopefully we can get them back on after camp gets swinging in, and then we can kind of get an inside look at what's going on. But man, that was awesome. We've talked to some cool people, so cool. I'll tell you. But that's so cool, because he's a part of the coaching staff currently. That's the first time we've been able to do that. He had some awesome insight, and I hope everybody was listening, especially when he was talking about somebody that he's very excited about, Jesper Bratt. And I think we saw last year a real big flash of what Jesper Bratt can bring. He's always had those little quick moments, whether it's that shootout goal in Ottawa, that first real moment when you're like, hey, this guy's got some moves. Or, just throughout his career so far, in his young career, he's had these moments where you're like, this kid is special. And now you're bringing in a coach that's going to be able to work with these young, talented forwards that we have. And you forget, it's crazy. Too. You forget we have Gusev, you have Bratt, you have Hughes, you have Johansson now, you have all these great Nico, who hopefully will be our captain.
Alexander Holtz, Dawson Mercer.
I know there's people that are like, oh, the Devils need to get Dadonov. The Devils need to go get Hoffman. The Devils need to go get, Pietrangelo. They need to bring back Hall. They need to do this. They need to do that. I think, like we said in the very beginning of the show, they're doing it the right way. You bring in an experienced head coach with Lindy Ruff. You bring in an amazing assistant coach with Mark Recchi, who's great with working with young, talented forwards. You have Elaine Nasreddine coming back, who knows everybody, who's going to be working with the core team.
We didn't even ask him about that.
That's what happens.
There's so many things.
I got starstruck. I'm not going to lie.
So many things.
I
didn't know what to say.
It's like squirrels everywhere. I'm like, squirrel. Mark Recchi squirrel. Wow.
I just kept thinking like, oh my God, it's Mark Recchi. This is like what happened when Doc Emmerich came on the first time. I was like, oh my God, it's Doc Emmerich.
We're all shaking. Don't screw
like, you're Doc Emmerich. Oh my God.
I'll tell you how nerve-wracking it is, because if you screw it up or you accidentally say something that may offend your guests that you worked hard to bring on the podcast, it could ruin all past memories because you did something stupid, whatever. So you try not to screw it up.
And you try not to
fanboy. I brought up that whole Phillies choke, Flyers choke then thing, huh? Right? That was real smart of me. I had to ask that, though. I had to ask.
No, but you know what? To your defense, 100% you had to ask that, because that's one of those questions. Like, I've always been curious to see the other side of that, because we've been on.
Never asked anyone.
We were on the other side of a 3-2 collapse when we lost the Stanley Cup Finals to the Avalanche. So as a fan, we know what that feels like, but as a player, like, it was cool to get that perspective. But yeah, I
wanted to hear like Dano would like face wash him all the time or something like that. Danico would probably be doing that.
Dano was doing that.
Face wash on there
was so physical. If you remember, remember, Mark was part of that Flyers team. I believe the series before against Pittsburgh, they had that 5 overtime or 6 overtime game or something like that.
Yeah.
Was that then that happened with Primo? Did Primo
I think score? It was Primo's move where he went
in the 5th
against
overtime.
Yeah, and he had this one move all night, and then in the 5th overtime, he decides to switch the move and then shoots it, and then I think top corner, which was an amazing series too. I mean, that 2000, that was heavyweights through and through. Each round was heavyweights.
Turning point is an easy turning point to say is when Elias scored, and that was the turning point of the entire series. But I mean, like, to be honest with you, Mark Recchi was one of those players that you're like, oh my God, this guy is just a killer. He's a killer. Like,
you never wanted to play
one of those
against
dudes.
him. Yeah,
you never wanted to play against him.
Never
wanted to play against him.
It's always like they got freaking Recchi. He's one of those. And dude, you look at his numbers too. Like, I didn't even realize that 53 goals, 70 assists, 123 points. He's got the Flyers single season record, for points, and I think goals too. I don't know if it's for assists, but like, he was a monster. He led the team in points that 2000 year too. And the Flyers were number 1 overall in the what was it then? The Atlantic Division? Was that what it was back then? I don't remember. The Atlantic, Metropolitan, Patrick, Eastern Division.
At that time, it was the Atlantic, I believe.
Or
it might have been
Atlantic,
the Patrick. Might have been the Patrick. No. I think the Patrick. I don't know. Whatever, dude. My brain
doesn't matter.
Is mush.
None of this matters. Mark Recchi was on before. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
but it was just great to hear his perspective. And what's that, Samu?
I couldn't do the interview. I hid. There's certain players that you idolize when, like, if Teemu Selanne, that's one. Yager, these are players that you grew up watching that you just idolize, just the moves that they made, or you try to emulate, I mean, it's hard to emulate the greatest players, but some players, Joe Sakic, that's another one. Matt Sundin, but Mark Recchi, I mean, his size, that's why they call him the wrecking ball. Just because he played like a power forward, but he was 5'10", playing back then. You talked about that transition, that the clutching, grabbing. I mean, that was a physical. I mean, plus
physical's not. You watch an old video either from that like in the 90s or the early 2000s. Forget about the 80s. It's like a whole nother world. Yeah. But you watch it like in early 2000s and you think, it wasn't that bad. There was pretty open ice. Holy crap. You see like Ken Danico full on like turning the blade of his stick and hooking into somebody, and the ref is standing right there and he's like, let it play, boys, let it play. Like, you would see somebody get bear hugged and like pinned into the board and nothing would happen. Nowadays you breathe on somebody and you get a double minor. So
and remember,
that's what it was, man. you bring the puck up, and it was like, if they try to chip it by you, play the body, just knock them, like that's all you had to do. Now you can't do it. That's interference penalty. Like, you can't do that anymore,
All right, so I have
sorry.
No.
Go ahead, Sam.
Say, I'll get back to this in a second. Sam, finish your thought.
No, remember when the NHL added another referee because they weren't catching all the spears and all the shenanigans, so they added an extra referee, and then they weren't, and then suddenly like the game changed a little bit because then one ref would look at another ref like, "Are you going to make it? Are you going to make it?" But finally they got it right with replay. They got it right because the game is just too fast for the human eye to capture.
It's fast, man. Hockey is really, really, really fast,
and it's so much. And you know what though? This is one of those sports that I hate the trapezoid and stuff like that, but for the most part, the transition into the way that the NHL is now, there's a lot of people who are like, you can't take away this, and there's too many penalties. But the way the game flows now, it's so sweet. When you watch somebody like Connor McDavid go from end to end and undress an entire team and then score a ridiculous goal, you can't sit back and say, man, I wish somebody would come across the middle and just Scott Stevens that dude right in the face. Even though, trust me,
I would say
those
that.
were great times.
I would kind of say that. It's kind of, it's odd though. This, you don't see a lot of these. You look at Recchi's numbers here. You don't see a lot of these 53 goals, 70 assist guys out there. There used to be a lot more of them though. Maybe the goalies are just better now. We'll say that.
I'm trying to go back.
So what were you
I'm trying to go back into our Facebook group, and I'm scrolling back through all the comments, which we are the most commented podcast.
Yeah, good luck.
New Jersey Devils.
You picked the wrong podcast to scroll back on, buddy. You're gonna be going for a while.
Listen, when I scroll, it's like real quick, and I'm just trying to find a few that I passed over. So you mentioned that somebody was talking about Tampa Bay, and I can't find it, but. Omar. Then there was our friend Ray. Our friend Ray brought up what's going on with the Chicago situation.
Manta Rays?
No, not Manta Rays. Oh, maybe he was. Ray, is your name Manta Ray?
Sam, did you get Ray's address so we can send him
Ray Leo.
His prize package?
Yes.
Ray Leo.
Yes.
Raymond Leo.
Yes.
Raymond Leo.
I got it this morning. Actually, I didn't check my email.
You know what we should do? Once Sam gets his setup going back, Ray, if you're listening right now, we should get Ray on a Zoom or something like that. Or maybe we get him on a phone, just do a little hello, and we'll say hi to Ray and see what his predictions for the season are. Since he was so good at predicting the Stanley Cup Finals, let's see what his predictions are for the Devils. When you get back to your regular normal, digs and you're all set up and you're cool to go. So maybe in a week or two, Ray, you can hop on and we'll give you a little chat. See what you think for the Devils season.
All right, here we go. Well, first of all, Matt just said, Matt Junio in our Facebook group just said Wedgwood is back.
He is. Yes, re-signed.
He is.
Yes.
I missed that.
Minor league.
So he's going to be in that AHL system pretty much forever. That poor guy.
So in case someone gets hurt.
No.
If Corey. If Corey, the other Corey Squared.
Corey.
Oh, Corey Crawford.
Keep
that
that chain.
CC. Yeah.
So my question to Ray is, Ray, you said what's going on with the Chicago situation, Ray? Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
You say yes.
But no, Ray, seriously, you said what's going on with the Chicago situation, so I wanted to see what his thoughts were about that. I also wanted to check out, Omar was saying that
everyone's pissed at Chicago.
They need to sign Sergachev. Fitz needs to continue capitalizing on the cap space. I agree. I think that Tyler Johnson going through waivers, listen, how many years he has left, and Tyler Johnson maybe 3 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, do it. Yeah. Jump all over that. But that train might have left the station. But you said that, so you just alluded to it. Vegas will need to make some more room for Pietrangelo. That's what Omar just said.
Mm-hmm.
If they sign him, that's one of those things.
St. Louis signed Torrey Krug, so that's little head scratcher there. You're like, well, that seems to put one piece of the puzzle right back in there. Do they need another one now?
So why is everybody all pissed off in Chicago? Like, that's my question.
Because they're going to rebuild. They're going to rebuild, man. And like they got 2 high contracts. Tays and Kane. Their contracts are so high. It's the same thing with like Toronto. You can only get so many players on the team because you have those monster contracts. And it was going to come back and bite them in the long run. But essentially, the Blackhawks.
Hey, they got 3 cups out of it.
They got 3 cups out of it. Now that they got, they let Corey Crawford go. They got a little bit of money, but at the same sense, they have to get they basically have to have all young, controllable talent, that they can sign to these, minuscule contracts and keep their. And as soon as they, are due for a big arbitration raise or something like that, they can't hold on to them because they don't have any cup space because cap space. Because of Tays and Kane and everyone else, Duncan Keith, Seabrook, they're all taking up all this space. So they're gonna have to break it down over there. Those guys are gonna have to get broken up.
But you know what though? That's the price you pay to win Stanley Cups. Because at the time I think when they were winning, losing the bread, man. I think it hurt when they were winning. What?
Panarin.
Say it again one more time.
Losing out. I said I think it hurt losing out on. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, it's a super talented, forward that they lost out on. And there's a couple other guys that they've had to let go, or there's a couple other guys that they just couldn't fit into their system. But that's the price you pay. Now, if the Devils start doing this the right way and they start winning, you're going to have to pay Nico Hischier. You're going to have to, Nico's signed for the next 7 years.
Nico's already paid.
You're going to have to pay Jack Hughes. You're going to have to pay some of these, some of these younger guys down the road. And if you're winning, and if you're winning cups, or if you're getting to that, that conversation, then you're going to start investing a lot of money into, your top tier guys. And look at what happened. Look, see, that's what happened to LA. That's what happens to any team nowadays.
Hopefully the cap will be raised a little bit by then. I think that's the issue now too, is the cap didn't go up for Chicago.
Yeah, especially because
of Toronto.
Yeah, especially because of what's going on here. But Ray says, hold on, Ray says the I guess he meant core.
He says yes.
The core players felt blindsided by Chicago going into rebuild, and Bowman has little to no communication with the players. So, I get where they're coming from, but it's the price you pay. Listen, the LA Kings were dominant, winning 2 cups, unfortunately. One of them. You could have won the second one. That's fine. You can win that second one. But the first one, come on. But they paid a price. They invest a lot of money into a lot of guys, and their roster got older, and then you see what happens. Chicago, same thing. That's just the way the NHL is structured nowadays, and you're seeing even Pittsburgh starting to go through it now. Like Pittsburgh, some of their big name stars, their marquees, are starting to get a little bit older. Now they've been able to financially move things around, like when they got rid of Marc-Andre Fleury, but it's just the nature of the beast. But it's good at the same time. Like the days of Detroit winning all the time and then being in the playoffs for 20-something straight years. The days that the Devils were in the playoffs for 19 straight years or whatever it was. Those days are probably long gone, and that stinks. But at the same time, it's good because you get a lot more competitive balance throughout the NHL, and it keeps you kind of honest. Like it keeps you to the point where you're like, maybe I shouldn't hand out a 13-year deal to Zach Parise and Sutter and hope in a wing and a prayer that they bring a Stanley Cup to Minnesota. Guess what? or a 17-year contract.
17 years, yeah.
So that got rid of all that stuff, all that kind of crap. You don't see that anymore. Look, dude. Taylor Hall just took a 1-year deal in Buffalo. You're trying to tell me that he didn't have a better contract offer from any other team that was way more competitive than Buffalo?
I mean,
just saying.
Well, also it seems as though Taylor Hall has burned some bridges around the league and everything. Come on, we've gone through this now. So does it really surprise you? Does it really surprise you though that a team with good chemistry wouldn't want to bring headaches in? Allegedly.
I have to say that, does it surprise me that he took a 1-year deal in Buffalo? Yes.
Well, he's just betting on himself to have a great year, and then he's going to go out and try and like test the free agent
and try and make bank.
Yeah.
But
that's what he wants.
You know what? I wonder if he's going to end up getting traded. Buffalo's going to, who knows if Buffalo's a team that has potential to like take a next big step to be in the playoffs. And maybe they thought like, hey, Taylor Hall, that's it. That's our one piece. We got Jack. We've got to keep Jack happy. Otherwise he's out of here. Maybe they thought like, that's their one piece. But honestly, I guarantee, I don't want to say I guarantee. I just think that he had probably better offers on the table. And I don't know why the Lakers win. La-di-da. Who cares?
Oh, is that why everyone's going bonkers outside my door over here? Okay. I thought it was the other parade that's going on. I got too many parades going on in LA today. Yeah.
Well, anyways, back, as we're getting close to the 10 o'clock, past the 10 o'clock hour, it's awesome having Mark Recchi on, talking to him, kind of getting his idea of like what's going to happen. I'm really excited about where this season's going to go. I don't know if Fitzgerald is done doing all the tinkering because there's so much time before the season starts. So everybody's like, man, they need to do something like immediately. Boom, boom, boom. We got to do something right now. And it's like, not really. Dude, if we start January 1st, how many months do we have until the season starts? We're basically we're July 1st right now. So we have time. If they don't sign, like some of these free agents don't sign right away, like I don't think Hoffman signed anywhere, right? I don't think Dadonov signed anywhere. I don't think Petrangelo has made his final decision, although all signs are pointing to him going to Vegas. There's time. We have plenty of time. Let him build it the right way. Don't have these knee-jerk reactions like you need to have a big name.
Yeah, we don't need that big monster name right now. Like I said, like people have been talking about with Patrick Laine for, however many weeks now. Same thing, like, just wait. Just wait. Don't try and like send an offer sheet or something, if you can work some sort of sign and trade, that's a different story. But this guy, we talked about it. You don't need that right now. I don't, nope. Honest to God, guys, I wish to the hockey heavens that the Devils win the Stanley Cup next year. But I really doubt that it's going to happen. Maybe it will. But I just don't think we're going to be cup bound next year, and then
you never
once
know.
We start getting there, though, I think we might be playoff bound, but I don't think we're cup bound. Let's just try to get, above 500, and in the playoff push. That's what I want for this year, above 500 and into the playoff push. But yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So we don't need that big name just yet.
No, a playoff push would be plenty right now. A playoff push would be plenty. And to be honest with you, a competitive team. We've said this before. Drafting first overall is fun. It's great, but it's fun for like 5 seconds. And then after it's done, you're like, well, cool. Now we got this young, talented kid, and we're going to throw him into the mix and see what happens. But I don't want to be in the position to draft number 1 overall next year. I don't want to be in like this, I don't know, I don't want to be in this rebuild for the next 3, 4, 5 years. I want to see like movement. I want to see the needle start to move towards the right direction. And I want to see this team be competitive, be at the end of the year. I'd rather have a team that's like, oh my God, we're pushing. Like we're in a podcast and we're like, guys, 5 games left. We need 3 points. Oh, my God, it's coming down to the wire. It's us in Florida, and we're neck and neck, and holy crap, this is exciting. Crawford had an awesome game last night. Mack is coming back into goal tonight. Can they pull it off? Can they get into the playoffs? Like, if they get into the playoffs, who are they going to, like that kind of chatter?
Let's remember we talked about lowered expectations.
I'm not saying no. That's not my expectations are not to make the playoffs this year. My expectations are, just see growth. Realistic expectations. Just see growth. Yeah, that's what she said. As Michael Scott
Sam,
pops into the picture.
We're starting to work blue over here, so you may want to hit the music to cue us out.
Work blue. What is that? I've never heard that before.
Or work green. What is it? I can't. It's like an old TV filming thing when you kind of get a little racy with the innuendos. I hear the music.
You do. All right. So, anyways, final thoughts. Absolute honor and pleasure to have Mark Recchi on the show today. I am super excited to see what he's going to bring to this young core. Tom Fitzgerald killing it out there right now, building a very young and talented core. So I think all the pieces are starting to fall into place. Not getting overly excited like we did last year, but being optimistic. Go ahead, Mark.
Yes. My quick couple things here. Welcome back, Brian Johnson to AC/DC. They got a new song out.
Yeah.
Happy 30 years in pro wrestling to the demo god, Chris Jericho. Of course, Rest in Power, Eddie Van Halen. And thank you. Special thank you to Mark Recchi for coming on here. And I apologize for my ranting on Fitz on Tuesday. Like I said, it was just an upset. But the Eddie, I have to say, he went Dumb and Dumber style and totally redeemed himself in my mind with these trades. And I feel much more happy and much more confident about it. So, Fitz, awesome job to you, too.
I'd like to thank Mark Recchi for coming on. We've been trading texts back and forth for a few weeks, but man of his word, he's came on Sunday, so we thank Mark. I'd like to thank the fans for watching, those that have been sharing our podcast, listening, kind words through Messenger, emails. Oh, and by the way, the last few weeks, I actually wasn't getting those Let's Go Devils podcast emails, so I got a barrage of them this morning, so I'm going through them. So I apologize. It's not that Sam Woo. You just
dude, he's Hollywood. Hollywood. This guy. He's Hollywood.
Hollywood Sam Woo.
Hey, and thanks for the follow, Randy Miller. Thanks for the follow, Randy Miller. It's awesome. NJ.com, baby.
And one final thought, Tommy Fitz. I was having a fit on Tuesday, but stick with the plan. You know what you're doing. Stick with the plan. I'm going to rewrite the Devils marketing from trust the process to stick with the plan. Don't force it, Tommy. You know what you're doing. You're slowly but surely building a dynasty here. And we've got Mark Recchi. Just hearing him, I loved it when he said, I like to get greedy. He wants to win more cups. And if he can instill that into these young players, we've got ourselves, hopefully, many cups for years to come. Thanks, everybody. Till next time, let's go Devils!